Hey, brothers and sisters, I just want to give y'all some encouragement today. One of the scriptures I was just reading is the Lord is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. Both parts of that verse are fire, the beginning and the end, but I'm jumping into the works aspect. He is holy in all his works. So let's take that verse and then combine that with that he's the author and finisher of our faith, right? AKA a work. And then let's also furthermore understand that he's the potter, right? And we are the clay. Like, he's the clay master. He's the one that molds us and uses us. And that he's going to finish and make holy that which he began to work in you. I want you to understand and just process all of this in him, in him, in him, on him, on him, on him. What he does, what he has done, and what he will do. With that being said, look up at him, put your eyes on him, and see how pleasant and wonderful he is and how good and holy his works are. And that is where we need to be at today. Set our eyes on him. You know, he says, seek first the kingdom. In that regard, we're looking at him, looking for him, hoping in him, and therefore we can have the fruit of the Spirit, the abundance of what he does and he has. And in those things, I really want to break that down into where you're at in your life, in your journey, that you no longer have to have shame, that you no longer have to judge yourself, because he's the judge. And this is very important for you, because I know how tempting it is to judge yourself. And if you're being honest, you know you're guilty, right? And you know you're unworthy, right? And all that might be true, but simultaneously, at the same exact time, it's judge not yourself and let him judge, and let what he says be true, and let what he sees be true, and let what he said and prophesied was going to be done be true. And AKA that he is holy, all his works are holy, that he is holy in all his works. With that being said, knowing that he's began a work in you, just because he's the clay master and he's working on you, molding you, and it may not seem beautiful right now, it may not seem holy right now, doesn't mean that it is not holy. So therefore, once again, that is why you are not the judge, because he's not finished with his work. As he says, he's the author and finisher of your faith. He's the finisher. So we know he started your faith, and in him starting your faith, he might be in that mid process. And right now, what he's doing might not seem in any way something that is holy and or will be finished. But we know who he is, and we know he's a finisher. He says, he who began a good work, it's good. Like, in regards to start something, it's good, but it's better to finish it. And if we're talking about better, there is no one or nothing better than him. He's the best of the best. So therefore, he's guaranteed going to finish what he had started, right? Because he is the highest level of standard and performance and completion there is. So he's going to finish it. So once again, lean not to your own understanding, but trust in him with your whole heart. All of this being played out into why this video is being posted and made right now today is solely for you to overcome sin, for you to overcome the condemnation that the adversary is trying to put on you, and to realize who he is, what he said, what he has done, does, and will do. And that's it. It's all him, his grace and mercy. You were always guilty. I was always guilty. We were always guilty. But yet, we're made clean and innocent because of him. And that's the beauty of it. And that's the gospel. That's what we need to share with people. And your own personal testimonies to share about how you were this, that, and the third. And you know these things through your own personal testimony. And then you watched he, who's righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works, you watched him come in and do what nobody else could do. And that's why he's holy and worthy of praise forever and ever. But the key here, we're talking about our own personal testimony. Share it with your brothers and sisters. You don't have to do it in regards to a public display per se, but you could do it with people while you're walking down the street, you know, all of a sudden, or you're going in the grocery store, you're at your job, and people are like, man, I just noticed you're always so cheerful, and the red carpet has been rolled out for you to give a testimony why you're so cheerful. God's giving you that opportunity to give him glory, right? And then share it. Share why. Oh, because I was addicted to this. I had this stronghold in this. I had this bondage in this. I had this darkness in this. I had this and this. And I'm still going through it even right now. And I'm dealing with this right now. But I know the one who has, does, and will redeem, sanctify, restore, renew, purify, right? Let them know of all those things. Recall upon your testimony. Let's be personal today. Recall upon your testimonies. Yes, it's all great and everything to recall upon the testimonies in the scriptures and you know, of the apostles and the disciples and all the beautiful testimonies throughout the scriptures. But we're not limiting the Most High today. We're not going to limit him just to what was in others, because he's still the living Most High today, and he created you, and his spirit resides in you. Share what he has done in your testimony. Share what you have seen him do when you were frantic and overwhelmed with anxiety, doubt, and fear before because of this trial and tribulation, and he came through that 10 years ago, yet we forgot, right? Or 5 years ago, or 5 days ago, or 5 seconds ago. Recall upon all of them. Stir up the testimonies in your own life. Sit and meditate and remember, you got me through that. You got me through that. You purified me through that. You redeemed me through that. You sanctified me through that. You got me to overcome that bondage of that. You got me to overcome that addiction of that I thought I was never going to break, that said that it had me forever. And I even had believed that it had me forever. Yet you, the judge of all, the redeemer, the one that sits above all principalities, powers, authorities, everything, said otherwise. And that's why I realized it's not what I say. It's not what you say. It's not what anybody else says. It's what the Most High says. That is what has the power and authority and dominion to call and say what is. And therefore in that I will take comfort. I'll take refuge. I'll run to and I'll trust in. As he says, lean not in on your own understanding, but trust in who? In the Most High with everything that you have, with your whole heart, right? So once again, lean not to your own understanding. Don't put your weight on what you think, what you judge, what you discern, but put your weight on what he judges, what he discerns, what he says. And that is where we will find the fruit of him, because it is good. He's righteous in all his ways. To start off with the video, beginning of the video, he's righteous in all his ways, holy in all his works. And that is what we're going to take our strength in, and that's how we're going to go. Therefore, with that being said, as I said, sharing your personal testimonies. And once again, you can definitely do this in a personal way with whoever, you know, maybe you got a group of guys that you hoop with. Maybe you got some colleagues that you go out with after work and y'all go do golf, or maybe you go, I don't know, you're going thrifting today with some of your girlfriends, or you're whatever, right? You're doing just life, right? And that personal moment comes up, whether it's with 5 people, 1 person, or 100 people, but you feel led because you hear their struggle or their story, and you just feel like, man, this is a red carpet moment for me to share what the Most High has done in my life and who he is, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to boast in my weakness, because that's going to overwhelmingly give glory about the one that overcame my weakness, because the world tried to dominate my weakness. It tried to exploit and pimp and abuse and tyrannically control my weakness and hold it over me. And then I thought I was defeated. I thought I was in a distraught stage of life that I couldn't overcome this. And yet it stood over me in such a dominant way. And then I watched the one that stood over all of it come and obliterate that which stood over me. And I realized that which originally stood over me has no power. But he that stands over it all is the one that has power. That's why he said he didn't give us a spirit of fear, aka about that which was standing over us, which we're talking about in this context, sin, the flesh, the world, right? He didn't give us a spirit of fear. So he's letting you know, do not fear that which claims to stand over you, but know that which stands over everything. Nothing comes close to him. Who can compare anybody or anything to him? There's nothing. There's nobody that you can find to compare it to the Most High. There's no image that you can even bring into his likeness. Nothing. He dominates over everything in a no contest, right? With that being said, and realizing these things, understand that he has given you a spirit of power.